Hey guys, what does Ernest Hemingway have to say about YouTube experts and super coaches? Guys, I want to talk about that in this video. It's an interesting topic. I came across an Ernest Hemingway quote, and it has some ties to these experts that are floating around in YouTube and in the fitness community. Before I get into that topic, if you guys have a question, check out the link below. Come on over, submit your questions. The best questions I turn into videos just like this. So I'm referencing Hemingway, and it's not my boy Hemingway, and you all know who that is. But here's the quote. In order to write about life, you must first live it. Let me repeat. This is an Ernest Hemingway quote. In order to write about life, you must first live it. So I wrote, after reading this, in order to write or talk about fitness, first you must live it. First, you must live it. Now, there are a lot of coaches on YouTube, and a lot of experts on YouTube, and a lot of super coaches in the fitness community. Some of these guys have a little bit of experience and a lot of knowledge. Some of these guys have a lot of book knowledge, but a little experience. There's an odd mix all the way across the board. So you can't really generalize about YouTube channels. You can't really generalize about coaches. I know a lot of people love to generalize about people in the fitness realm. But here's the thing. The guys that are hardcore into studies, the guys that are studies, but don't look like they lift. They look small, or they look fat, or they look weak, or they don't look like they've ever run a successful cutting diet, or they don't look like they've ever built a substantial amount of muscle mass, but yet they know all the studies. They might even train, what they think is hard. You have to, you as a human being, and I will never tell you not to dismiss their information, because as individuals, we need to process all the information. We need to take in all the information we can and form our own decisions and kind of weigh that information based on our personal experience and the experience we run into with other lifters. But that's an area that some of these young guys, or they're not even young. There are some guys on the internet who look obese, who don't look like they have any muscle mass, but yet they know all the studies. Here's the thing with studies, and James Tinevest mentioned this in a video recently, talking about a calorie is just a calorie, that a lot of the studies we're reading today or focused on today will be obsolete in 10 years. They'll be replaced by new information or more advanced information, or they'll be proven wrong. So just because something is a study today, doesn't mean it is the gospel. Doesn't mean it is the gospel. What you need to do as an individual is, over here you have studies, and over here you have experiential knowledge, and you need to be able to weigh the two. We talk, for example, there is the issue of muscle protein synthesis and training frequency. It has swung since the late 90s from body part splits all the way to the other end of the spectrum, where if you don't do frequency training, you're a fool, because this study and that study. And I would say, and what I like to teach people and instruct people, is that you can't just look at the muscle building process as through one lens, only muscle protein synthesis. There's so many other dynamics. There's motivation, there's tendon health, there's central nervous system health, all kinds of variables. You might like training a certain way. You also have the crossover information that, even those people that are in the frequency camp, tend to look at things through a body part lens. And here's what I mean. There'll be like, on a frequency program, you're training each muscle group 3 times a week. But on a body part split, you're only training it 1 time a week. I'm here to tell you that's nonsense, because when I do chest, I'm also training my shoulders. Every natural and unnatural bodybuilder I've ever met has huge shoulder development, namely front delt development, from doing bench presses. You're also working your triceps. When you're doing shoulder day, you're working your triceps as well. So if you have a chest day and you have a shoulder day, you're working your triceps twice a week, to a degree, your shoulders twice a week, etc. So there's overlap in these compound movements. There might not be a ton of direct work, but there's definitely overlap in a body part split. And the reason why I mention this isn't to push body part splits. To get back to the point at hand with studies, what we believe today is probably going to swing a little bit more back towards the center point over time. So experts, YouTube experts, and super coaches that put all their faith in studies but don't look like they lift, don't look like they have ever run a successful cut, don't have a lot of muscle mass. You as a lifter can't just jump into their Kool-Aid and start drinking it down. You have to understand that most of this research won't be obsolete in 8 to 10 years from now. It'll be obsolete in 8 to 10 years from now. It'll be replaced by new information. So the challenge is to go into the gym and know that this is also an art form when it comes to diet, when it comes to training. You go into the gym armed with this knowledge, and if you go in and do a frequency workout and it doesn't appear to be working, then you modify it to maybe training each body part twice a week, like upper lowers. And if a certain rep range isn't working for you, you can tweak that. I don't care what a study says about rep ranges or volume. Here's the thing, each exercise is unique. People that argue that training to failure is always going to, this is a great example. People will, the training to failure camp will say, training to failure is the best way to train. You know what? Each lift is different. Some lifts are extremely difficult to train to failure. They will just jack up your body, jack up your joints, squats and deadlifts, you training to failure. On the other hand, it's really easy for me to bench press to failure or barbell row to failure. So each lift is different. They're not all the same. And these are variables that scientists don't often understand, don't often comprehend. Each lift is different. Some lifts are easy to train to failure. Some aren't. Rep ranges. For you, you might feel like on seated cable rows at 12 to 15 reps feels better for you. Or on cable tricep extensions, 8 to 10 reps feels better for you. Maybe it impacts your joints differently. So you have to make that jump regardless of what science says. Let's look at skull crushers or lying tricep extensions. When I do heavy lying tricep extensions, they inflame my elbows. When I do them frequently, they inflame my elbows. So what do? I increase the rep range and I move to doing them only once every 2 weeks. No more inflammation. I still get the benefit of a great exercise. So there is a lot of art in this sport, in these sports, the iron game, bodybuilding, powerlifting, or just for the recreational lifter. So back to the topic at hand, Ernest Hemingway and guys that haven't lived in the gym, you have to, it is an integral piece of the puzzle to live in the gym, to have that experiential knowledge, to train with the best of the best and listen to what they have learned, and what they have learned might contradict what you hear in articles and on YouTube videos. So you just have to be able to weigh that. This is not a video railing against the inexperienced super expert or the super coach or the YouTube expert or whatever. But you have to understand that when you look at these guys on YouTube, or that when you look at these guys in the gym, if they don't look like they've run a successful cut, if they don't look like they've built a lot of muscle mass or strength, but yet they have all this knowledge, you need to process that properly. You can listen to the knowledge, you can take in the knowledge, but you have to cross-reference that versus what you know works for your body and what you've read from other lifters on the internet. Because while certain YouTube channels might say one thing, an experienced lifter might say another thing. I've worked with guys like Donnie Thompson, who was once the strongest lifter ever. I work with a couple guys who used to train at Westside. I've coached tons of power lifters. I know there is a huge difference between the art and the science. So Ernest Hemingway, in order to write about life, you must first live it. And what I wrote down is, in order to write or talk about fitness, you must first live it. Always approach the experts with a grain of salt if they don't look like they've built muscle, built strength, or ever run a successful cut, because their information could or could not be correct, and there's a good chance that the studies that they have sold their soul to embrace might not be pertinent in 10 years from now. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.